Would you have the courage to join Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in marching over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965? Selma is about the voting rights marches from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965 during the Civil Rights Movement led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights leaders. It came out in about 2014, 2015. It is rated PG-13 and it is a little over 2 hours. So this takes place in 1965, and just because the pictures that we see in our textbooks today are in black and white doesn't mean that it was all that long ago. In fact, we know, whether it's parents, grandparents, other family members, or friends or neighbors, we know people that were born in the 1960s. So it really, really, really wasn't all that long ago, which is kind of sad and kind of scary too for our country. But I want to back it up a little bit. We're talking about voting rights and marches in 1965. Well, about 100 years before this, the 15th Amendment was ratified in 1870, right after the Civil War during Reconstruction. And the 15th Amendment says every American citizen has the right to vote regardless of race. But because of Jim Crow laws and black codes, here we are almost 100 years later to this movie, and African Americans were being denied the right to vote. In fact, one of the very first scenes of this movie, a black woman had her registration filled out and went to get her voting registration, and the man behind the desk had to check over all of her answers, and then all of a sudden he just goes, "You have to recite the preamble of the Constitution." White people didn't have to do that. This was a Jim Crow law specifically trying to take away rights away from African Americans. So she starts saying it. She, I guess, knew that this was going to be a question. And then he stops her midway and says, "How many county judges does Alabama have?" Even if she got that question right, which she didn't, he's going to just ask her another question, this one was name them all. There were 60 something of them. Unfair. Completely unfair. Do white women or white men have to answer those questions? Take a literacy test? Have a poll tax? No. Well, this is not a documentary. It is a historical movie. Are there some historical inaccuracies? Yes, but guess what? Tons of movies based on history has tons of historical inaccuracies, but the truth and the good out of this movie definitely outweighs the few historical inaccuracies there might have been, whether it was with Lyndon B. Johnson or the SCLC members. All in all, it was pretty historically accurate. Selma was extremely moving, and at times, I'll be honest, there are times where I really wanted to look away from some of the horrible things happening to these protesters, to these American citizens just asking for the right to vote. It makes me wonder, we've come a long way, but have we really in the world today? I highly recommend this movie. Historically, it was good and moving. It definitely was. Some parents' guide if you have a younger kid at home. The violence gore, obviously there were some violent scenes. Unfortunately, that's still happening in the world today. There was some profanity. There was like a couple F-bombs, a couple N-words, and a few other cuss words. There's really no sex or nudity, not really any drugs. Yeah. So I asked the question at the beginning if you would have the courage to join Martin Luther King Jr. in this march, this 5 days, this 54 miles from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama. And even though my gut says, yeah, I would do it, I totally would. It'd be scary. It'd be really scary. Took a lot of guts, and they went through a lot. And the thing that when the movie was over, the one thing that was really ringing in my head was In 50 years, if there is a movie being made about today, 2020, how would I want to be portrayed in that movie? And that really stuck with me. I highly recommend Selma. I think it is a very good movie. I think you guys should check it out if your parents say okay. Right now, it is free on Redbox on demand, and also it's free on Amazon Prime Video. You can watch it on Hulu with live TV, but I can't find it on Netflix. So I highly recommend Selma, and let's keep going and try to truly achieve equality. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you watch Selma, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your opinions. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and that bell icon for notifications. All right, have a great day. Be good to each other.